Welcome to another Petoskey Strong Community Conversation. I'm Nikki Devitt, president of the Petoskey Regional Chamber of Commerce. And today I am joined by Amy Tweeden, the city planner for the city of Petoskey. And we are extremely happy to have Amy here today because, well, we want to talk about a master plan. Thank you for joining us, Amy.
Oh, you're welcome. Thanks for having me.
So let's just begin right now with what a master plan is and how the process works, because right now there's some very big things going on through the city of Petoskey, and we want to make sure our residents are aware.
Okay. Yeah, the master plan is a policy document that guides the development and redevelopment of the community over about the next 20-year time horizon. It also serves as the legal basis for land use regulations like zoning or land divisions, and also provides a rationale for why we do the capital projects that we do when we do them. So by Michigan law, a community that regulates land use is required to review their plan at least every 5 years. And decide whether a major change is required or if it's just, when we did this 5 years ago, it was really just updating data. There weren't a lot of policy changes per se. So this year was a major rewrite, or it's really been going on for 2 years now. So it was decided we need to a complete rewrite, and we started out because council also was looking at having a sustainability plan. So rather than having a standalone sustainability plan, we thought, well, we'll just incorporate sustainability and resiliency throughout the master plan. A master plan generally is much more based on the physical characteristics of a community. So this goes a little bit farther into resiliency and sustainability from an environmental, equity and economy standpoint. So we started back in 2019 working with Leah out of Traverse City, coming up with a sustainability framework. And what that did was really looked at a lot of our existing documents, our existing master plan, Parks and Recreation plan, capital improvements plan, and where we were already addressing sustainability and where we could do better. So all of that got kind of put into a framework, which was kind of the guiding document for the master plan. So the sustainability framework, part of it had public engagement. We did some outreach with students, and then we did some pop-up meetings to get, at that point, the input was really, what are your concerns? What do you value? Those broader kind of visioning questions that got incorporated. So then from that, the plan itself was developed over about the past year. And with that, there's 9 chapters, I think, everything from housing and transportation, economic, local economy, but then there's also natural resource protection and climate resilience. So in each of those chapters, we have long-term goals and then kind of strategies of how we reach those in the short and to medium long-term period. So that there have been probably 3 drafts of that document that have gone through the Planning Commission review. They approved their final, it went to City Council.
Yep.
City Council reviewed it again. Made some tweaks, and so now it's out for what's called the distribution period, which is the official. It's really the point at which we send it to adjacent communities so that they know what we're doing. Because every community does their own master plan. Emmett County did their master plan. Bear Creek did their master plan. We do our master plan. And we obviously review what everyone else is doing just to make sure there aren't any major, conflicts.
Right.
And so at So there's a 60-day period that we're, excuse me, in right now. And then it comes back to the planning commission, because the planning commission is really the driver of the planning of the master plan process by state law. And then they review all the comments that have been submitted for incorporation. Then they come up with their final document. They hold a public hearing, and then they adopt the plan and then forward it to city council for final adoption. So we're right in that period now where the document is drafted. It's not a final draft, but it's a final draft, but it's not a final document. So the input we're looking for right now is on the actual document and what the document says. Is there things that should be there that aren't there? Are there things that people feel shouldn't be in there? Which is a little different than just the engagement at the beginning, which was more the broad questions. We're looking for very specific input on, are we covering what we need to? Because throughout the engagement, really the two issues, is no surprise that would come to the top, are housing and water levels and impacts like that.
Right, and those two obviously come to the top. And so public comment is obviously important as well, as you said, because we're in this window. It goes till when in April?
April 12th, I believe.
That. And I am going to pull that up for us, because I do believe it is also on Petoskey.us homepage.
It is.
Yes. So, and I think one of the things that I like the most, I have to say, that I've loved all along about this is livable Petoskey, and what all that encompasses. So when we're looking at it, like you said, bringing in resiliency, sustainability, and the importance in that, and building a thriving community, being very cognizantly aware of our housing issues, our development issues, and where we're going forward. Livable Petoskey pretty much says it all. So I'll share our screen here for those that can, so that we can show this in the interview, that Petoskey.us is where you're going to go, is where you're going to need to be. And if you just scroll down right around here, there we go. Livable Petoskey, and I'll go back so it lets me do this. So Livable Petoskey master plan information and comment period. So this, like you said, goes till April 12th, and then you can actually view the master plan, and then they will contact you if they have comments, correct?
Right. And those comments will go to the planning commission.
Excellent. And it's loading. You can tell it takes a while because it has to load. So this is not a 2-page document. You're in for a read, but also this is so much work went into creating a livable Petoskey ideal toward a more resilient and sustainable community. So as you said, it's all sorted out. So we're really, truthfully, for us, we are just encouraging people to get into the opportunity to engage themselves, to learn more, to see where it's going, use your voice, kind of look through it and see, and maybe to educate yourself on some of the issues that, we face as a community. All of us face as city residents. And if you live or work here in the city of Petoskey, it doesn't matter if you're in Bear Creek or where else you are in Emmett County, we all are facing these. So it's a good way to educate yourself as well. Are there any key, if you're looking at it, aside from the sustainability piece and incorporation to that, are there any key highlights in the current plan that you want to mention too?
No, but you focused on the livable side of it, and there's a real sensitivity in the community that we don't become just a place that people visit, that we are a real community. People do really live here, and by making ourselves more livable, we'll continue to bring people here. But first and foremost, we have to make sure that we are a good place to live, and that will bring all the rest. So there's a discussion on neighborhoods, and it goes beyond what is just housing, because when you live somewhere, it's, integral to your location and proximity to parks and open space. What is the transportation network? Can you get from point A to point B? Do you have to rely on a car? Do you not have to rely on a car? So, it is, I think, a very comprehensive document. I don't think it's not a tough read, I wouldn't say, but I think
No.
anyone who would read it will learn a lot. They'll learn a lot about, I guess, what the city is doing already. There's a lot of facts and figures about, miles of street that we maintain,
Yeah.
or gallons of water that are treated daily. So there's a lot of information, and then, where do we go from here? We can always, I get, the premise is really, we can always get better. So there's always room to.
And we're a great community, and we know that. And to continue to be livable and attractive, and attractive, when I say that too, it's not that, I might get in trouble for saying this, but everybody, you hear people say so often, well, we don't want to be Traverse City. We're Petoskey. We don't want to be Traverse City. And nobody is saying that. What you want to be is, you want to be Petoskey at its absolute best. And to do that, you also want to be the place that, as our kids go through schools, and they go off to school, or they learn a trade and stay here, we want them to come back. We want them to invest their family and their livelihood back in our community. And to do that, we have to be a truly livable, inclusive community that has the opportunities that it needs. Like you said, for those of us that live here around all the time, I still find people who are shocked that we all do live here year round. I find that funny sometimes. We're like, really? You guys don't just go away in the summer? I'm like, no, we're a thriving community. It's our community first. So I think it's fantastic. A tremendous amount of work, Amy, I know that, my goodness. But like you said, a tremendous amount of information, and a way for our residents to just become really engaged in their community and see the future and see the good that's already being done.
Right. Yep.
So thank you very much. We will make sure we continue to share out during the public comment period so that we get that feedback from the community, we educate the community. And again, thank you and all city staff and city council and everyone for all that you do for the city of Petoskey to give us that livable, sustainable, thriving Petoskey vision.
All right. Well, thank you.